What if you never got pregnant? What if you just gave your and your partner's genetic material and then what you received 9 months later was a baby? All of this without any of the health risks and complications of pregnancy and changes in your body. Hi, we are Nuria Blanco, Marina Llené and myself Carlos Garcia, and in this video we will present the plan for our company to develop artificial wombs. Disclaimer: this hypothetical enterprise is a figurative representation of the current situation of ectogenesis research and development of artificial wombs around the world. In this video, we will discuss the main concepts and controversies related to fertility, its alternatives, its repercussions on society, and the current research that is being conducted nowadays. To do so, we have thoroughly read lots of discussion essays, different studies, and even contacted the researchers that are doing this pioneering work. To continue, so as to understand the requirements for such an ambitious project, we should discuss a few important concepts in the field. To begin with, ectogenesis is the term given to pregnancy conducted outside the uterus. Actually, this process is applied nowadays with neonatal intensive care, which improves the survival rates for premature births using incubators. If we go a little bit further, there is relatively new research in ectogenesis field, artificial womb technology, AWT. However, currently there is no existing prototype of an artificial womb for humans. Therefore, our hypothetical product, even though it is still in a development phase, it would consist in an artificial womb that could be used as an alternative to natural pregnancy. The procedure that we had in mind would only need that you and your partner gave a sample of your genetic material in our clinics, and we would handle the rest. When the fertilization was accomplished, we would need to proceed with the agreement of the main terms and conditions and afterwards complete a basic parenting course and maintenance of the artificial womb machinery, because you would have the option to bring it to your own house so as to begin with the bonding phase with your embryo.
We must point out that this is, for now, a theoretical process. However, we have looked for our main competitors which are doing pioneering work on the development of artificial wombs. Here, we show some of the most important groups. There is not a very long list of people working on this field compared to other research lines. Juntedo University in Japan in 1996 developed the extrauterine fetal incubation. Kuwabara and his team succeeded in keeping the goat fetuses in the artificial amniotic system for 3 weeks. The system, however, ran into several problems and was not ready for human testing. The members of the group Children's Hospital of Philadelphia were able to further develop the extrauterine systems. These studies uses fetal lumps which are then placed in a plastic bag filled with artificial amniotic fluid. The system consists in 3 main components: a pumpless artificial circuit, a closed sterile fluid environment, and an umbilical vascular access. Eindhoven University of Technology claimed that the artificial womb and placenta will provide a natural environment for the baby with the goal to ease the transition to newborn life. The perinatal life support system will be developed using breakthrough technology. A mannequin will mimic the infant during testing and training. Advanced monitoring and computational modeling will provide clinical guidance. Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel in 2021 they built a mechanical uterus and grew mouse embryos outside the uterus for several days. This device was also used in 2022 to nurture mouse stem cells for over a week and grow synthetic embryos from stem cells. Barcelona Natal Fetal Medicine works in a collaboration from Hospital Clínic and Sant Joan de Déu from Barcelona. As the other groups, they are still in the developmental phase and are ready now to test in sheep and pig embryos, as they have now finished the development in their artificial womb systems, succeeding in survivals for a week. By recommendation of one of our teachers, we contact Elisende Ishar, who is a key member of this group. We interviewed her and discussed lots of the topics that are talking in this video. She explains that the aim of this artificial placenta is to reduce the morbidity of prematures that have a minimum of 23 weeks. Also, it would be intended for performing surgeries on fetuses as they are really limited because they have to take place either very delicately inside the mother belly or bringing the fetus outside. This second option has the same problem than common incubators, which is the fact of inducing the birth and forcing the respiratory system that has not been fully developed. All this plus the complications that come with the own surgery. After discussing with experts, we realized that the development of an artificial uterus needs a lot of different biological processes that need to be taken into account. For example, the umbilical cord to embryo communication has the opposite configuration in regards to adult humans. We must point out that nowadays, for ethical reasons, animal trials are the only way to test the viability of these experiments. Thus, currently research considers the similarity of the embryonic development of human embryos compared to other species. The main species used due to their similarity to human development are lambs and pigs. Lambs have the pulmonary development really similar to humans, where the umbilical cord connectivity and dynamics are almost the same as the one of pigs. Why would people be interested in this kind of technologies? Which alternatives do we have nowadays? According to the World Health Organization, around 300,000 women die from pregnancy complications each year, so our product could guarantee no risk for the mom during the pregnancy or delivery. Also, she wouldn't have to suffer the restructuring of her hips or hormonal changes in her body. Now, let's talk about fertility. Fertility is the inherent capacity to produce offspring. Different factors such as diet, sexual activity, or as simple as emotions and lifestyle rely on human fertility. Age is also a relevant factor. Now women decide to have children much later than they did in 10 years ago, and this is a problem as, from the biological point of view, the optimal age of reproduction is between 20 and 30 years old. Due to all of these factors, the World Development Indicators show that fertility rate has been in decrease since its peak in 1964, when the rate reached 5 births per woman, more than doubling the current rate, which is 2.39. Nowadays, fertility services can be given for the people who are incapable of conceiving a baby naturally. Such alternatives are surrogacy, adoption, foster care, assistive reproduction, artificial insemination, or maybe an artificial womb.
The development of artificial uterus and ectogenesis raises many bioethical and legal considerations, and also has important implications for reproductive rights and the abortion debate. Artificial wombs would change our conception of parenthood, in part because they would expand the range of fetal viability, raising questions about the role that it plays within abortion law. If the transferring of a fetus from a woman's womb to an artificial uterus was possible, it could be an alternative to aborting the fetus, and consequently, raising even more controversial questions. Who would have the right to choose if the mother decided not to carry it and do it in an artificial womb? And if none of the parents decided to carry it, should the offspring be born? Could the government take care of these facilities? Following the hypothetical creation of an artificial womb would unfortunately disappear some emotional part of pregnancy, named mother-baby connection, which would be lost. However, there are some theories that suggest that the bonding can be generated after birth. Would this change human evolution? Philosopher Hannes Majder from University of Oslo claimed that, given the fact that uterus and pelvic sizes are known to be limiting on skull sizes, by removing womb from the whole fetal development, human evolution would no longer be limited by it. Also, would this change the view of woman and motherhood in society? Would this lead to a more equal world as the time spent in pregnancy, which is used by lots of people as argument, is equally distributed between both parents? If it did, would it have been only the fact that women can be pregnant, the element that is not equalizing the treatment of individuals in society? Would having children be a right? Should the government pay for such an expensive procedure? Which are the malicious uses that this could have? Should this be regulated? In which way? If you had access to lots of artificial womb machines, could you produce children in large amounts to sell, or as workforce or army? With the rise of infertility given by our diets, pollutions, and the delaying of motherhood, would this artificial womb still sound crazy? Would this lead us to a more equal world? Or would this only create even more controversies? Maybe an artificial womb would need some regulation before being another possible alternative to natural pregnancy, but it would definitely be a tool to avoid some of the complications that arise. Maybe, in the present day, we are still far away from achieving a full pregnancy with an artificial womb, but for the moment, We have achieved the incredible feat of keeping babies alive thanks to incubators. And in the present day, the artificial placenta to diminish fetal morbidity is now almost a reality. After all of this, does the concept of an artificial womb still sound crazy? Even if it's a way of improve and extend quality of life? Although maybe this business model is very expensive, you still have to look at the years of life won. Isn't money worthless if you balance it against the value that 70 or 80 years of life that a premature would win by placing in an artificial womb?